Hello! I've been away camping for a few days. I haven't actually been at the allotment in almost a week, and I've popped back up today just quickly to harvest a few things from the Polytunnel, to be honest. And so much has changed in just 6 short days. The flowers are just looking beautiful, to be honest. The gladioli have all opened, there's more lilies that have opened. The cucumbers behind me have just turned into an absolute jungle. They're starting to trail over the top bars in the Polytunnel. There's tomatoes to harvest, there's onions to harvest outside, there's a few chilies almost ready. It's all happening on the allotment, and it always seems to happen when I'm not here to see it. I mean, maybe because I haven't been here for a few days, that's why I've noticed so much difference. But yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to harvest today, and just thought I'd share the excitement, really. So many sunflowers have opened since I've been away, and you are greeted by this trough full of them as soon as you walk into the Polytunnel. Just so much colour, with the nasturtiums coming through there as well. The marigolds down here. These marigolds are from Hampton, actually, in these troughs, and I planned on transplanting them back out into the beds, and I just never got round to it, to be honest, which is just the way it goes sometimes in the garden, isn't it? But they've kept flowering. I have kept deadheading them, well, for the most part, but I'm just loving the colour as soon as you come in here. When I say that this cucumber behind me and above me is the best cucumber that we have ever grown, I'm honestly not kidding. I just can't believe it. Like, I actually don't know what we've done this year any different to any of others. We've got the same compost, the same feed, almost down to the same varieties, especially the pickling gherkins and things behind me. I've never grown Honey Plus before. These are from Grown Local. I mean, the size of that. But yeah, this is a Honey Plus variety from Grown Local. All of the potty mouth people have grown it this year, and I know a lot of them have already been harvesting theirs as well. I've already had a few off this plant. There's a few more to come off it today. It's just a cucumber jungle in here, and I absolutely love it. Like, I never expected the cucumbers to get like that, because we've just never managed to get them like that before. I think pulling off the suckers has definitely had something to do with it, and you almost have to prune them like you would prune a tomato, which I will show you now, because there are a few suckers on there that have kind of got away with it while we've been away camping. But all in all, I'm so happy with them. So these bits here are the suckers, and it's exactly like a tomato. So you have the main stem coming up, and then you have the shoots coming off, and it's the bit in the middle that you want to take off. So these are the bits that you really want to take off. It's exactly the same as on a tomato. Unfortunately, while we've been away, this has kind of got away with itself a little bit, and it does have some fruit forming on it already and some flowers. And in years previous, I've always been so inclined to leave these on in the hope that I would get more cucumbers, and it hasn't actually worked that way. I've ended up with less cucumbers. So really, keep on top of pulling the suckers off the cucumbers in the same way that we do with the tomatoes, and hopefully you might end up with lots and lots of cucumbers. So I think I might have essentially bleated on enough about the cucumbers now. So I'm going to harvest a bunch of them. We've got crystal lemon, we've got gherkins at the back, we've got a giant Honey Plus here. So I'm going to get these harvested. I don't actually know what I'm going to do with them yet. I might pickle them. We're going to be eating pickled cucumbers until years to come, to be honest. If anyone has any other ideas on how they preserve their cucumbers and things, then let us know, because I would like some alternatives other than tuna and cucumber sandwiches or pickled cucumbers. But yeah, let's crack on and get these harvested. Polytunnel is just full of surprises today, to be honest, because I thought all of these 5 plants were cucumbers. Now I'm actually starting to think that one of the melons that I sowed has actually survived, and I might have actually planted it in the polytunnel. It doesn't have a label, but it also doesn't look like a cucumber. Let's show you. So hidden behind this leaf is possibly a cantaloupe melon. I don't think it's a cucumber, and I don't have a label for it. There was probably a label at some point, but I'm really, really bad at labeling. But I think it's a melon. I'm gonna leave it where it is on the plant and hope that I might get my very first melon. I can't believe it. I mean, melons in Newcastle? No one would believe you. Just a little background to that excitement as well. I've tried every single year since I got my allotment to grow a melon. The first year, we didn't have a polytunnel or a greenhouse or anything, and we just went really rogue and tried to grow one outside, which obviously ended without any melons to take home. Every year since I've tried. A few years I've actually got melons forming, but then when you have harvested it and cut into it, it wasn't as you would expect. But fingers crossed, that might be the first melon that we get. We'll see. There are so many tomatoes as well along here that are ripening up, and I just can't believe how tall they've got. Like, this cherry tomato here must be over 8 foot, I would think. Maybe 7.5 foot. And it still has flowers on it as well. So still more tomatoes to come, hopefully. The trusses on these cherry tomatoes are amazing. There's so many of them as well. Just so beautifully formed. And down here too. Have obviously picked off some tomatoes already because we're impatient, but all the way to the top, there's just so many of them. It's beautiful. And the super steak tomatoes are growing unbelievably. These are massive. There's only 3 on here and one very, very small one at the back there. I can't even really get to them properly, but heavy and just huge, to be honest. And another one at the back there, and just a little baby one there. I'm not sure how big that one will get, but cannot wait for these to ripen up. Down here, these are the crushed hard tomatoes. These are the ones that I've been wanting to try and grow for so long. And there's some starting to ripen. This one might actually be ready to pick now. I wanted to grow this variety for a few years, and to be honest, just kept forgetting to buy the seeds. But these are from Tomato Revolution, and you can see why they're called Crush Heart, to be honest. Even when they're not ripe yet, they are so beautiful. This dark purpley colour going into the lighter green. They're a really decent sized tomato as well. I've just loved growing these, and I'm definitely going to grow them again next year. I mean, look at that. You can see why tomatoes were grown for ornamental reasons when they first came to England. We've got some Beams yellow pear ready at the bottom here. These are from Tomato Revolution as well. Some Rosella Jumbo starting to ripen there that I can see. Some cherry and some sun gold. So I'm gonna harvest some tomatoes as well. We've got the Hampton Court Newcastle Brown Ale tomatoes still going over here as well. These are Black Star, and none of these are starting to ripen up yet either. I grew indigo rose last year, and I remember how long the darker varieties took to really ripen up. I think a lot of them were actually at the end of the season, so I harvested them when they were still green, and I think I might have made green tomato chutney with some of them. Hopefully some of them might ripen, but if not, I still absolutely love this purpley variety. I really love the dark tomatoes, and there's always something that you can still do with them as well. You can ripen them at home, pop them in a brown paper bag with a banana, for example, and they should ripen. Or you can just make green tomato chutney, which is also lovely. So there's so much that you can do with them. We have all of our chilies over here, which have a lot of flowers on and a lot of chilies forming actually. This is a jalapeno. This is a purple jalapeno. This one's just starting to ripen up there, and there's a lot of jalapenos formed here. Last year I grew 1 plant of this and it just wasn't enough, so this year we've got 3, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them forming. They were so hot last year, very spicy, so we'll see how they are this year, but really happy with how well the jalapenos are doing, and they all seem to have just grown so much in the past week while we've been away. I have my variegated chili plant here from Tatton that's doing quite nicely since I put it in a terracotta pot. It has some little baby chilies just on there, just forming, and a few more just coming here. But even if I don't get any chilies off this thing, I just think it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful plant. I'm going to try and overwinter this one. Never even tried to overwinter a chili before, so gonna have to do a little bit of research on it and things. I know I'll have to bring it into the house out of the polytunnel, but if you've overwintered a chili before, then let us know how your experience with that was, because I really want this one to come back next year. And we have more chilies in the middle bed. It's just a bit of a mixture in this bit, to be honest. Chilies, peppers, tomatoes, a few herbs, spring onions, flowers and things. Just a bit of a mismatch, to be honest, but everything seems to be doing pretty nicely. Got some chilies on there and some quite decent sized bell peppers forming there. Now, it is still raining, however, there are some bits and bobs that I really want to get from outside. One being the onions that have all now flopped and are ready to be harvested. So I'm just going to brave the rain and just get them, because I think it's forecast to rain for the next few days, and I might as well just do it now so that they can start drying. So these are my onions. Forgive me because the bed really does need a good weed. Bit of rain, bit of sun, and the weeds just go crazy. But these are ready to be harvested. The telltale sign is that they have flopped over at the top here. It's looking like we might have quite a decent onion harvest, to be honest. Quite a few decent sized ones, and quite a few squeezed into this relatively small bed, maybe 3 foot by 2 foot or so. So let's get these pulled up, and I think I will dry them out in the house, in the cupboard under the stairs. But yeah, let's see what we've got when we pull them up. So that is the onions all harvested and the bed all weeded. I'm doing this a bit rogue because I just popped up here and I have an old tripod that's a little bit dodgy basically, and it keeps falling over, so I apologise for the very bad filming, but I'm still not a YouTube newbie, so that's my excuse. But yeah, I got a lot of goodies here. There's honestly some really good sized onions that I'm really quite happy about, to be honest. Let us show you them. Quite a lot in here. Some really decent sized ones as well, and also some quite small ones, but I'm not fussy, and I will be even taking the very small ones home. I will throw no homegrown produce away, even the baby ones, but quite happy with these. They will be hung up and will dry in the cupboard under the stairs at home. And that's me for today, going home with quite nice little goodies, little harvest there. There's a lot that's changed on the allotment in the past month or so. There's so much that I want to show you, like the fig trees coming back to life, which we really thought had died. And there's so many new flowers and just so much going on. All of the brassicas and the courgettes and things look amazing on the other plot, but I will try and do an August update at some point in the next coming days or week or so. But thanks for watching. If you liked, do the things, and hopefully I'll see you very soon.